Hello everyone, welcome to DC Comics. My name is Joshua Williamson.
I'm Scott Snyder, and what's next is our big October event called DC KO.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Spin Rack. This is Mars here. I'm here with my boy Cal. Cal, say what's up.
Hey, ready to rock.
Hey, today we're talking about DCKO. It was just announced. I'm having my boy Cal break it down for us. Cal, can you tell us a little bit more about what DCKO is? And is this something that we really want to do? See?
Yeah, it is something we want to see. This is the first time we're ever going to have a battle royale of this nature with DC Comics. Marvel did this already in the form of what they would have called Contest of Champions or Avengers versus X. But the Marvel heroes are always fighting each other anyway, so that's like a long-standing thing with them. But this is the first. This is really a first for DC in terms of literally a battle royale type situation where all the heroes are going to be contending with each other, and there's a prize that they get at the end. There was this initiative last year, DC All In, but when that started, it was also the start of the Absolute universe, where it's supposed to be darker, a universe that is pretty much in control by Darkseid, where Darkseid realizes he can build up more of this Omega energy, more evil, if he has this type of universe. Now, the DC universe proper is aware of what's going on, and they're like, okay, so we've got to contend with Darkseid, but the only way for them to do it is that they also have to build up Omega energy. But Omega energy is not positive energy, so you have to be ruthless in order to wield it. So they're going to have this contest over 5 issues where the most ruthless of the heroes is probably going to get the Omega energy, and that person is going to be the one to fight Darkseid. At least that's the plan with DCKO. But that gives them an excuse to have people fight each other. So you'll get to see Batman fight people, you'll get to see Aquaman fight people, and all the guys who love the versus battle stuff. Like, yeah, who would win in a fight if it was this person, that person, this person, that person? So it's going to be 5 issues with that. I expect to see some cool covers, some cool fight, some cool matchups in terms of who would beat who. The thing that has also been said by writer Scott Snyder is that Dark Knight's death metal, that was pretty much a Batman story. And no, Dark Knight's metal was a Batman story. And then you have Dark Knight's death metal, which was a Wonder Woman story. And he's saying, well, this one is going to be more Superman centered. And I'm wondering, I don't see how you pull that off.
Shouldn't he win? I mean, he's the strongest hero around. So, I mean,
that's really tricky because yeah, Superman should win, but nobody wants to see Superman win. They want to see somebody else win. They would love it if Batman won and beat Superman. Like, yeah, Batman's got the Omega energy. Nobody really wants to see Superman win, even though he's the person who should win. However, they're saying that this energy requires somebody to be ruthless, and that's not really in Superman's character. To just look, I need to get this power so I can beat people up. Superman is always the guy who can find an alternative way. One, and then he's also representative of this, of the thing that can combat Darkseid, which is the hope of the DC universe. So, looking at this, I'm like, I'm not exactly sure what they're going to do here, but I'm certain we'll see Superman fight some guys.
Okay, I mean, so I'm just reading this thing that they have over in Bleeding Cool, and they were providing some little backgrounds on it, a little bit more detail. And Scott Snyder was actually talking a little bit more about it. And I'm like, let me just share this right here. So you have, he's saying here, when the story starts, the heroes learn that not only has Darkseid evolved into something bigger and stronger than he's ever been, but he's coming over from the Absolute universe to the DC universe. And there's no stopping him. He's moving backwards through time, from the future to the present with the birth of the Absolute universe. He's absorbed so much Omega energy that he's become something beyond conception. He's become the King Omega. Oh, get it? King Omega? KO. He's destroyed the future. There's no future for DC at this point because of Darkseid has done. He's making way back to the present. Okay, look at so they had the Ashcan at the SDC, and they're showing some art and stuff like that. In addition, What else they were saying? They're saying that they're supposedly DCKO launches a tournament turning Earth into a apocalyptic arena with 5 deadly levels. Heroes and villains must battle each other to generate the energy nest needed to confront Darkseid. The closer a fighter get to the heart of Apokolips, the more corrupted and dangerous they become. Darkseid evolves into King Omega. Okay, so everything you basically said,
I
but
didn't realize there were villains there.
yeah,
There's
that's what
villains.
I'm about to say. The villains is the one thing, but wow. But are they working together or are they working just on their own? Like, screw it. I mean, the villains are saying, hey, let me knock everybody out to get what I need to get.
Can you ever really work with a villain? But I could see them doing something with like, yeah, Lex Luthor wins. Yeah. Joker wins. Yeah, the Joker's got the Omega power. And then you have to stop and say, do you trust either of these guys with the Omega power? Really?
Well, where is this? I just saw something where they had it wasn't Bleeding Cool, but here it is. League of Geeks, DCKO, and they had a preview of the covers coming up. And let me see if I can find this. The previews of the whole um, DCKO comics coming up. Let me see if I see it here. And it showed a couple of covers and someone who came at the end, and you're like, what? What was it? DCKO covers. There it is. Reading order and checklist. There it is. Look, I hate this. I hate these books that cross over every book and every side. It just drives me nuts. And it's just a money grab sometimes by the comic book companies.
It is, but it works.
Well, I'll just wait for the trade then. It just drives me nuts because
That works too. They want you to buy these books in this form and they want you to buy the trade. So they're getting their money one way. If comic book guys said, hey, we're not going to read books that do this type of stuff, they wouldn't do it. They've been doing this for well over 20 years. It works. They do the yearly thing, it works. And it does help to expose people to other books. The other thing is that most comic book guys are reading books in serial, and your book only really comes out once a month. So this is the 1 month. This would be or you got 2 or 3 months where, okay, you got plenty of reading because these are all chapters. So if it's 52 chapters spread out over 3 months, that's 3 months where you can read a continuous story as opposed to waiting for 3 stories over the same 90-day period. So it
okay,
works.
right. So you have 8th to 15th, the 22nd. So every week there's going to be a new story.
Yeah. So that's reading. That's reading every week. Every week.
So has this type of reading made me actually buy other comics? No, it hasn't. I've not gone on to read. I've read a couple others, and I tell you, some have disappointed me completely. I didn't like the art, I like the pacing, I like the story. I'm like, just give me what I want. And here you have DCKO #1 comes out after the Justice League Omega Act #1. And DC does this little trick, these one-offs or whatever, where it's like DC League Omega Act. So is there going to be another one or not? You know what I'm trying to say? And then DCKO #1, you assume since it says core issue, there will be more, right? So, and then you have all these tie-ins. So do we need to buy the tie-ins, understand what's happening to the DCKO #2? And the prologue, it says prologue, literally. So prologues don't mean you're going to have more than one, but this one says #1. So it's a complete mess, and that to me is where you gyp the customer. The experience sucks sometimes. But hey, we can agree to disagree on this bad boy. We can agree to disagree. But I'm excited. I want to see it. I want to read it. At least a core issue to see what's going on. Okay. So, thumbs up on this.
I'm interested. I like some of the covers that I've seen. Of course, big Superman fan. So when you say something's going to be Superman censored, I'm like, all right. But I'll be honest, I never know what that means. I really don't, because it is. It's a big it. Scott Snyder wrote a Justice League story where Superman did something really cool. It was very dynamic. He comes in, he saves the day. And then you look at people's reaction to it, where, they just, they try to, disqualify the whole feat. And they really have a problem with Superman being this first among equals, which he is with the Justice League. And, the writers themselves say, hey, look, Superman's like the hope of, he is the embodiment of hope in the DC universe. And I think a large amount of the readership really wants Superman just to be the guy who makes the nice speech. and brings people together, that type of stuff. But they don't want him to be more powerful than everybody else combined, which is what he is. So anytime I look at that, I'm always skeptical as to what they're going to do, because good writers understand that, look, that's just Superman. He's the guy who can. We don't expect Batman to come swinging in from outer space and save the day. We just it's ridiculous, because if he's doing that, the first question that comes to my mind is, well, where's Superman? Why is Batman doing this at the end of the day? That's just the character that you have. It's not the Marvel universe. So, you say Superman centric, you definitely get me on board. I'm interested. I'm going to read it, but I'm always skeptical because I think they are competing even today, 2025, where they're like, oh, I don't want to write another story where Superman saves the day. And then you're like, okay, then what's he supposed to do there? Just don't have a Superman centered story.
All right. So, hey, we want to see it. We want to take a look at that. If you like what you hear, give us a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, follow. Spin rack.
Yo, we're out.
We are out.